Ringworm isn't a worm, and it doesn't come in rings. It's actually a fungus that feeds on your skin, hair, and nails. But did you know it can live in soil for months, just lurking like a villain in a horror movie, waiting to infect its next victim? Or that your gym, your pet, or even an innocent handshake could be the reason you get it? This isn't just some itchy rash. It's a highly contagious fungal infection that spreads faster than gossip in a high school cafeteria. So let's break down the truth behind ringworm, how to spot it, and most importantly, how to stop it before it takes over. Alright, so first things first, despite its creepy name, ringworm has nothing to do with actual worms. It's just a very ambitious fungus with a flair for drama. Officially called Dermatophytosis, this little troublemaker survives by munching on keratin, the stuff that makes up your skin, hair, and nails. That's why it shows up as red, scaly patches that often take on a circular shape, making it look like a worm just had a field day on your skin. It thrives in warm, moist places. Think gym lockers, swimming pools, and that yoga mat you swear you'll clean, but never do. And since it spreads through direct contact, anything from sharing towels to petting your cat can turn you into its next host. The fungi behind ringworm are like microscopic squatters, refusing to leave once they find a cozy home. These tiny organisms thrive in warm, moist environments, making them a common nuisance for many people. They belong to the Trichophyton, Microsporum, and Epidermophyton families, tiny but mighty invaders that love damp environments. That's why gyms, locker rooms, and shared sports equipment are basically their favorite hangouts. Ringworm is a social creature too. It hops from person to person, pet to person, and even soil to person. Yes, that means it could be chilling in the dirt for months, waiting for someone barefoot to stroll by. This is why athletes, pet owners, and kids are prime targets. Because who doesn't love rolling around on the floor or hugging their dog a little too much? So how do you know if ringworm has claimed you as its new host? The signature move is the infamous red scaly ring that slowly expands outward, clearing up in the middle like a tiny bullseye of fungal doom. But depending on where it lands, symptoms can vary. On your scalp, it can cause hair loss and inflammation. On your body, it shows up as itchy, well-defined patches. On your feet, it becomes athlete's foot, also known as cracked, peeling skin between the toes. And if it decides to settle in your groin, congratulations, you now have jock itch. The fun doesn't stop there. If it attacks your nails, they become thick, brittle, and discolored, making your feet look like they belong in a horror movie. No matter where it strikes, ringworm comes with one guarantee: persistent, annoying itching that makes you question all your life choices. Now, who's most likely to get ringworm? If you're into wrestling, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, or any other sport where you're rolling around with sweaty people, you're basically a VIP guest for this fungus. Kids with their underdeveloped immune systems and love of touching everything are also prime targets, especially in schools and daycare centers. Pet owners need to be extra careful too, since cats and dogs can carry ringworm without showing symptoms. And if you have a weak immune system, sweat a lot, or have existing skin conditions, you're more likely to get an uninvited fungal visitor. Diagnosing ringworm is usually pretty straightforward. Doctors can often recognize it just by looking at it. But if things aren't so obvious, they might use a Woods lamp, which is basically a fancy UV light that makes certain fungi glow like a rave party. For a more accurate diagnosis, a doctor might take a skin scraping or hair sample and check it under a microscope or culture it in a lab. Either way, if you've got ringworm, your doctor will know. The good news? Ringworm is totally treatable. For mild cases, over-the-counter antifungal creams like clotrimazole, miconazole, or terbinafine will do the trick. You just have to keep applying them consistently for a few weeks. Yes, even after symptoms disappear because fungi are sneaky. But if it's more stubborn, like on the scalp or nails, you might need prescription antifungal meds, either stronger creams or oral medications like terbinafine or graciofulvin. These are effective but can have side effects, so they're usually saved for tougher cases. Of course, prevention is always better than scratching yourself into oblivion. Keeping your skin clean and dry, avoiding shared personal items, yes, that means no borrowing your friend's towel, and wearing flip-flops in public showers can go a long way. If you have pets, regular vet checkups can help catch ringworm early before it spreads to you. And if you're an athlete, wiping down gym equipment before use is a must. Because let's be honest, you don't know what kind of fungal nightmare the last person left behind. So what happens if you just ignore ringworm and hope it goes away on its own? Well, bad news, it won't. Instead, it can spread, get worse, and even lead to secondary bacterial infections from all that scratching. If it's on your scalp, it could cause permanent hair loss or scarring, so trust me, this is one of those things you actually want to deal with sooner rather than later. Despite its misleading name and highly contagious nature, ringworm is totally manageable. With the right treatment and a little hygiene awareness, most infections clear up without any lasting effects. Understanding how it spreads, recognizing the symptoms, and keeping up with good hygiene can protect you and those around you from becoming its next victim. I'll leave you to discuss in the comments. Have you ever had ringworm? Or do you know someone who has? What's the weirdest place you've ever heard of someone catching it? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.